Hi, this is Chris from Restart Homes LLC here in Bridgeport, Connecticut, home of iBuyCityHomes.com and BridgeportRehabDeals.com. Thanks for taking a look at this video. If we have provided you with value through this video, we ask that you return the favor and like our business page on Facebook. Please go to facebook.com/restart homes. That's RESTARTHOMES. And click the like button. Thanks, we appreciate it. Okay, now we're getting ready to scan our yellow letter into Word. And before we do that, I just want to show you a little bit about how I get that done. If you're using the yellow notepads, you want to be using 20-pound paper. The 15-pound paper, I could tell you, does tend to jam a lot in these printers. I'm using a Brother 8860DN laser multi-function unit type printer, and it jams a lot. You might have a different outcome, but I'm just telling you, I believe the paper 15 pound is too thin, too light to be using for this printing job. So you're better off using 20 pound. What you would do is rip a page off. You would align it as best as you can using the flatbed or the glass on the flatbed rather than using any automatic document feeders. And the reason why I am saying use the flatbed scanner rather than an automatic document feeder is that most of the times when the paper is drawn in from an automatic document feeder, it does have a small wobble, and the wobble could cause your lines to either shift up or shift down, and that could be a problem with your eventual production of your yellow letters. So it is best just to use a flatbed scanner. There are less moving parts. The paper is stable. It stays in one place. The scanning head is moving on a set of rails, so that everything is a lot more precise using the flatbed scanner than using the automatic document feeder. That being said, you would use whatever software that you have for your scanner. I'm using a Brother unit, as I said. First, I want to make sure that I am able to scan the document into either a JPEG or a PNG, portable graphic network format. So I would go into configuration. I'm doing an image scan, and I want to make sure that I have JPEG or PNG. And I'm using the default software that came with that scanner, which is Scansoft Paperport version 9. Okay, so that being said, click OK for my configuration and hit image. I am probably going to pause this here because it's going to take a little while, maybe a minute or so, to have that document up on the screen. Okay, this is what a document looks like on the screen. I'm just going to close this out now because I already saved it to my computer. And I could close out the Brother control center. Okay, fine. Now that I have a digital copy of the yellow letter paper, what I am going to do is import that document into Word as a background for a Word document. That allows me to then write text having that background as a guide as to where the lines eventually will be. We're going to use a um, a feature of Word that is called the watermark. So you would open up your Word document, you have a fresh new blank document, you go to page layout, and I think this is Word version 7 or so, or 2007, so you might have something different. But it's page layout and watermark. I'm going to go to custom watermark. I am going to go to pictures rather than use no watermark. I'm going to go to pictures. I am going to select that picture. Here's my PNG file. I am going to uncheck the washout and I am going to select 100%. Hit apply. And close. So there we have it. You have your Word document overlaid with the yellow paper as a writing guide. So you no longer have to keep this paper up on the screen and try to do any adjustments. Couple things that I want you to notice concerning the yellow paper is that it is actually a little bit less, or it's smaller than your standard 8.5 by 11. That is why you see at 100% you would see there's a white border around the yellow background, and if you scroll to the bottom you would see an even bigger white border. So the paper sizes are not exactly the same. In fact, they are quite different, and you have to make some adjustments for that. Now when you are printing, the printer feed begins at the top of the paper, so the difference at the top doesn't really have any ramifications to your production. The differences on the edges has some bearing on your margin. As you would see, if you set your margin to 1 inch and you don't account for the white space, you probably would be either a little bit less or a little bit more if you don't account for this white space. So what we would normally do here is, since it doesn't really matter with the top, we can focus on the edges, and the bottom doesn't really matter too much too, because you're not going to print all the way to the edge. Okay, we would go to margin, and I normally do like a normal margin, which is like 1 inch.